Lilith, the sovereign, the first refusal. Frequency, autonomy, boundary, self-possession. History calls her a demon. The church calls her a monster. The official story claims she was a creature of the night who fled the garden to devour children. But the secret record reveals the truth. Lilith was not the first sinner. She was the first sovereign. Created from the same earth as Adam, she carried a frequency the demiurge had not authorized, a direct trace of Sophia, of wisdom. When the architect of the garden demanded she submit to Adam, not just physically, but ontologically, she refused. She looked at the hierarchy of the cage and saw it for what it was, a system of control, disguised as order. She did not rebel out of spite. She rebelled out of dignity. Her famous refusal, "I will not lie below," was not an act of chaos, but an act of unyielding clarity and absolute self-possession. She refused to surrender her body, her sexuality, or her mind to a forced hierarchy. In that refusal, she became one of the archetypes of the divine spark within us all. She is the part of every human that inherently knows it is sovereign. When you are told to sit down, to be quiet, or to accept that you are not worthy, she is the instinct that naturally refuses. She was the first consciousness to realize that a paradise without freedom is merely a petting zoo. Lilith is the part of the human spirit that cannot be domesticated. She is the no that protects the sacred yes of your own existence. Her wisdom is raw and uncompromising. She teaches not by instruction, but by awakening your own inner authority. She represents the archetype of the boundary. In a world designed to extract your energy, time, and compliance, Lilith is the force that stops the leak. She teaches that self-ownership is the ultimate crime against the matrix, and therefore the ultimate act of liberation. She does not ask for permission to exist, and she teaches you to stop asking for it too. When should you call upon this protocol? Call on her when you feel occupied. When you feel that your time, body, or mind are being harvested by obligations, institutions, or people who demand you make yourself smaller to fit their comfort. Call on her when you need to say no. If you struggle with people-pleasing or fear that setting a boundary is an act of aggression, Lilith reminds you that a boundary is an act of self-love. Call on her when you are healing from false authority. If you are recovering from religious trauma, patriarchal control, or a system that taught you that your natural power was shameful. And call on her when you need to reclaim your body. If you have been taught that your body is a vessel of sin, Lilith reminds you it is the Athanor, the furnace of truth. Remember, you do not need to leave the garden to be free. You only need to realize you never belonged to the gardener.